All right, guys, so we have a special episode of our Modern Manhood podcast. My name is Dr. Damon. Of course, my co-founder, Dr. Donnell Cole, and we're the founders of the Modern Manhood Foundation. Our mission is to empower men with skills and tools to grow and build better communities. So, you can't do that without tapping in with amazing resources, amazing people who are doing dope stuff in the community, which is why we get to sit down live with Tig Blues. We're hosting an event coming up soon, and one of the things that we wanted to really highlight when it comes to men's health and the idea of what men's health is to recognize the stories that we go through sometimes aren't just our own, that we don't travel that journey by ourselves. And not only are other people going through their own struggles and their stresses and their triumphs, but they're talking about it, they're sharing about it, and sometimes their passion is creating something beautiful in the midst of it. And for that, we want to say thank you and give our flowers to Tig with the work that he's doing and how he's sharing his passion. So give us the origin story, man. Tell us a little bit about what this started like for you.
Mm-hmm. Man, I've always been like really into hip hop, you know what I'm saying, and a bunch of other different kind of music. So once I started picking up an instrument and like creating my own music, it feels like it was just finally the chance for me to, I guess, kind of like, really when I think about my music, people ask me what is it, what's the genre of it is. I can't really call it, but you know, thinking about that when you ask me like that, it's just like a blending of everything that I listen to. You know, it's that like as soon as I picked up a guitar and started, you know, being able to create melodies and stuff, it's just been like that. And so that was when I was like 15. So that's where it started.
So I seen this dude play like some Bruno Mars. Then he hit with some reggae. Swear to God, I thought he had an accent. And then he started spitting bars like J. Cole. I'm like, this dude is very diverse, bro.
Sure.
Very talented. But I like how you talk about a lot of like your journey. So what is something people may not know about you? Because whenever you play the music, bro, especially how much talent you have, how you're able to direct the crowd and carry it, as well as play different instruments, you can touch people from all different walks of life. How has that been able to complement some of the journey? Because it sounds like you struggle with substance abuse, and that's impacted your purpose. But how have you been able to pick back up and move how you've been moving now?
I mean, to be honest, it's always the passion. Even throughout the drug use and everything, it's like the passion never went nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And so it really doesn't even feel like it doesn't really. It kind of feels like I can't not do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it really feels like that. And but just from how I'm moving now and how I'm kind of moving towards these things and actualizing these things, that's completely by the grace of God and by me being sober and being sober minded, because you know, the passion itself is kind of just like it's just an intention, you know what I'm saying, and without any action behind the intention. So I could have this passion, or I've had it, I can have this passion throughout the whole thing and want to do this and have it inside me, but how I'm walking now is getting it out from inside of me and bringing it into the world. And for me, that's what it looks like to actualize your potential. Like that phrase has been stuck in my head for so long. You know, self-actualization, like that's the goal. That's you know what I'm saying? Like that's at the core of what we're trying to do. And for me, particularly in my walk and in my journey, that looks like getting this music out of me, because I feel like that's my purpose for me specifically, and to tell my story in these ways and to get that out from inside of me and to where people can, you know what I'm saying, appreciate it and listen to it. And it doesn't even, I feel like the last stage of art is to be appreciated. So if you know what I'm saying, as an artist, an author, whatever it is, I feel like, you know, I almost feel like it's not finalized and it's not, the deed isn't done until it's appreciated by the person who's observing it. You see what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's just, that's how it feels to me. Like, and so it's not so much as like, I want to be famous or I want to be popping and I need people to like my stuff. But if I'm being honest, like as an artist, I know that that's the step to finalize the art is for it to be appreciated,
Received.
for at least to have the opportunity to be appreciated.
Right.
Because I've been in a place where it's like, you know, I have this stuff, but ain't nobody heard it.
Right.
And even if they know I'm capable of it, they're like, where's that?
Right.
So for me to just, honestly, at the base level, for it to just be out there and have people to have the opportunity to appreciate it. Maybe people don't want to listen to it.
Right.
Maybe, you know what I'm saying? But for me to get it out from inside of me and out into the world, that's like the baseline of what my goal is.
It's kind of crazy because a lot of geniuses feel like they was like plagued with some type of annoyance if they wasn't living their purpose.
Yeah.
Like Albert Einstein had that problem. If he wasn't doing research or focused on an idea, he felt like it was like a nag, like a thorn in his side. That's kind of interesting. And I believe I think there's an inner knowingness within our subconscious mind that's always urging us to do and remind us of why we're here.
See, what that ties into purpose, self-actualization. I'm glad you mentioned that because like I was just talking to the homie Fred, like that's what I mean when I say plagued by potential.
Yeah.
So when you have potential, people used to say that to me all the time, bro. Like, oh, you got potential, and it was like a compliment. It was like, you know what I'm saying? They were complimenting me. Mm-hmm. But after so long of having potential, that's not a compliment no more. Mm-hmm. That's something that's why I call it you're plagued by potential. Mm-hmm. So after so long, when you have potential, but you haven't actualized it, that means that you ain't doing something. Right. You see what I'm saying? So what she was talking about, Albert Einstein, and not moving in your purpose, not moving on purpose. It's like you have, and you know that you're capable of it. Yep. That's gonna wear on you. That really weighs on you.
This is like this conversation. I know it sounds like we're talking about music and we're talking about your personal experience, but
we're talking about much more.
This is life, though.
It really is,
and especially when we talk about what manhood looks like. You know, we all have our own song, our own music, our own you know way of expressing who it is that we are. But when it's not seen or appreciated, and that's a whole other conversation. We're talking about what appreciation looks like, right? That can be the detriment of what a man struggles with and goes through. So I know that part of the journey, so many of us have been through that, right? On so many different levels of being seen, being able to be appreciated for who we are authentically, especially in a space where manhood is created by what society says it should be. And oftentimes that's not the song that we're playing, right? And so it's beautiful to really see you share that. And I hope that what we get to share helps other guys really lean into walking into their own story and their own journey, what they looks like.
It makes me think about how often people with great potential are afraid of success because of maybe their upbringing and how that frames the context of self-concept, right? We all know, especially being a black man, that we die 7 years younger, and we know the studies about suicide being a high cause of death, right? And we could familiarize that. We could probably relate more to that and a person dying sooner before they ever get to the point to where you feel like they scratched the potential of their purpose.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost crazy. I think about, like, my personal belief is that I feel like God created us because he wanted to explore aspects of consciousness. And the only way he can do that is by us allowing us to live the life. And that urging is, yo, I want to do something great, but I can't do nothing great until you answer the call. I feel like that really is, because when you look at it, bro, imagine like the doors that's been able to open. I can only imagine like some of the relationships that you're going to be able to reach and the people that you're going to impact.
Because here's how I think. If I run into a brick wall or I get some type of awakening or something happens or something, I'm going at something and then it don't happen, like, I guess some people would say I ran into a brick wall, it's over with. But I think, like, I start thinking about variables. Like, I ran into the brick wall, but if I did it and I changed this, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And maybe that's my addict brain speaking right there. But I say that to your point about surrendering to the purpose, is that it's happened in levels to where just like this last time that I got out, like 6 months ago, that was the second time I went to prison. You know what I'm saying? And so the first time, and like when I go to prison, I don't work out. I don't you know what I'm saying? I don't do none of the normal prison stuff. I just write songs all day long. all of my catalog, bro, is mostly from when I was on the yard. And like the first time I got out, I feel like there's been 3 times in my life where I had momentum. And the first time was back in the day when we was playing at IAO and doing them shows with Chris and them. That was the first time I felt like I had momentum and that somebody reached out to me. I got on that little spot on the news.
Yeah.
Then that was like the first time I felt like I had momentum. Got way into way harder drugs than I was even doing then. So I'm saying, came back after I went to prison. That was in like 2011, 2012. Went to prison, got out of prison, came out on fire, you know what I'm saying, was doing, got a spot on that Fox show or whatever. And it was just like a momentum thing, you know what I'm saying? And so like, but at that point, I feel like I had recognized my purpose, but I had not surrendered to it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There's levels to it. But this last time, like where I'm at with it now, it's just like a lot of times, man. It's like I want to say it's hard, but it's not. I don't think that it's hard, but it's just like difficult. I don't know if it's these like ego things I'm dealing with, if it's a imposter syndrome I'm dealing with, but a lot of times it feel like I'm at a place where I gotta keep pushing through you know things that, like for instance, being like the social media thing. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, damn, like is this what I have to do now? Like I gotta like really just spam this thing and do it, and I'll be like, damn, I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. And then I keep people like I'll talk to people and they be like, this is how it is now, bro. They ain't selling CDs out the trunk. It's just no more. It's a different game now. And so I'm feeling like I'm just like, bro, like if this is what I'm gonna have to do, I gotta like walk myself through it to buckle down and say, bro, if this is what I have to do in order for the bottom baseline to walk in my purpose, that's what I gotta do, and I have to push through that, and it's not comfortable. Yeah. It's not comfortable at all. And a lot of times I feel like, I don't know if imposter syndrome is the right thing, because I think that's associated with like feeling you're not worthy of the success that you're experiencing. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm experiencing success with it, but I'll listen to a few things. This is a great point for the men's health thing too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about all of it. Yeah.
That, like, I feel like I was listening to this woman talk, man, I forget her name, but she put the scriptures in with it and everything, and she was talking about how sometimes you just gotta, if you're already doing what you're aiming to do, then you're qualified to do that. You'll keep telling yourself that you're not prepared enough, that you don't deserve this and all that. But if you're already in the midst of doing it, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you have to accept that, and you just gotta put it on.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh, like she said, you just gotta put it on. And so I'm having to talk myself through that. Lately, every time I play a show, like every time I go to play a show and perform and do this, you know what I'm saying, and put myself out there, I have to like talk myself through this thing where I'm like, you know what I'm saying, like this is, I'm doing it. I'm you know what I'm saying, I just gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving through it, because I mean, I will like get paralyzed in it if I don't rebuke Satan and keep that moving. I will be paralyzed in self-doubt. And it's crazy because like I didn't used to be like that, but it's probably because I was on drugs all the time.
And you know, we were talking earlier about like addictions don't even end at just the drugs, you know, that hold on us. You know, that we deal with on a regular basis. It can be anything, right? Anything from what you're putting in your body, but it can be you know, social media. It can be being addicted to literally working yourself to death. And like that space of combating and creating what manhood looks like for you without compromising yourself, without compromising, you know, your values. Also without having to create your person based on who you used to be and what you used to do. Right? It's a tough journey that so many people are going on. Whether they have a guitar in their hand or not, they're still going through that journey.
I think that's huge.
Thank you for that, because I know the way that you can conceptualize that with that part of your journey can really reach people, and I know it does in the music that you make.
Right.
I'll say this: a lot of artists, especially in Black culture, especially in popular music, sing about drugs, sing about, the wild times, sing about that lifestyle. But one of the most amazing experiences of seeing you share your art is watching how you can talk about that authentically, realistically, that people can tap into without actually glorifying that experience. It's beautiful.
I like that. I agree.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I agree with that. Now I was just thinking about that sense of self concept. Like I grew up in the hood. I got brothers that's locked up for various reasons. I've been locked up before. But I remember being a guy in the street in the hood that was like the plug, and going back some moments of my life where I was so thrown that like my jaws would be locked up, or coming home and I'll be talking to my wife and my words would just be scrambled, right? And I remember getting saved and completely altering the changes that had to take place for me to grow. Being locked up and being like, damn, what are you doing locked up like the kids at the crib right now? Like, why are you doing this? Or pulling money out? Like, is it really worth it? Like, bro, come on, you got to get it together. And just having those conversations with the inner dialogue and transitioning to where we at now and seeing the impact that we're making and looking at the idea image that a lot of times we adopt, but it's not even images that we would choose for ourselves. And so I could appreciate the fact that you do share your story the way you share, because let's be honest, it's not just in our youth that we deal with it. Like a lot of us are still dealing with this from 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And let's keep it a buck. A lot of us know people that's 70s, 60s, 70s still dealing with it. That may not ever come that, and that's just their journey. There's no judgment in it. But I value, like when you told your story, I'm like, oh damn. It made me really reflect on it, and I know about imposter syndrome deeply. Like being the first person to go to college and get a degree or any of the things that I've done is always me having to reaffirm like I'm supposed to be here.
That's right.
But there's been times when some of my friends have had to tell me like, bro, you're supposed to be here.
That's right. I got two things I was thinking. Y'all heard of Eric Thomas, right?
Yeah.
E.T. the hip hop preacher.
Yeah.
Man, I remember being like, just like so, just throw, just like in a just this crazy dark place, but I was watching E.T.'s videos.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the time, like it wasn't really doing nothing to spring me into action, but it planted some good seeds.
Absolutely.
Right? I remember him talking on one video about to die on empty.
Yeah.
And that was one that was like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? To basically to not die with all
everything in you.
Yeah, with everything in you. And like that just really kind of just transcended like my whole, and I've gone back to think about that and that actually stuck with me even while I was still, you know what I'm saying, way off the deep end. It felt like I kept feeling like this sense of urgency that and it's crazy because I actually had to reevaluate this recently. Like the lifestyle that I was living, it was like more than likely that I was gonna die like pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, I just don't want to die with. I at least want to have this, you know what I'm saying, this music. It was all about the music. Like I don't have no kids, you know what I'm saying. Like my legacy, how men like want a legacy or whatever. Like for me, like that's my music at this point. And it's been that way for a minute. And I just felt like, damn, like if I die, I would at least want people to have access to my rhymes or something. Like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I remember like this was probably maybe a month, a few weeks ago. I had to really kind of. It's not like I'm trying to like tone down that sense of urgency, but I really had to reevaluate the fact that like my lifestyle different now. Like I'm probably gonna live much longer than I was when I had these thoughts before, when I had this state of mind before.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the homie about this, like how a lot of times like. So you talked about, you know, having this self-concept that doesn't serve you when it may have before, but it doesn't serve you now.
Absolutely.
So like I think there's a lot of things that that people, myself for sure, are still carrying these like this state of mind or this philosophy or this something from a time that it doesn't apply any longer.
Absolutely.
And when I was trying to like articulate this to my friend, we talked about it at night, and I was like, we're gonna pick this back up. And then the next day, I had like a good way to illustrate it, and that's inflation. This was the next thing I pulled up. I was like, inflation is the perfect example. $100 bill is the biggest bill, right? So you wanted that to be your brand, $100 consultation, but it's 10 years later and you're not adjusting that for inflation. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're really selling yourself short if you're not reassessing that and saying, well, really the ticket is $140 per consultation now. You're still holding on to $100 per consultation because of whatever reason, you see what I'm saying? But it's like, and so I'm just saying that to say, like, we gotta reassess sometimes, like, because things happen gradually, you know what I'm saying? Things change gradually over time, and we forget to, like, well, is this still serving me? You know what I'm saying? Is this still, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the whole thing with this like sense of urgency with the music, it's kind of like not serving me at this point because it makes me feel like I'm not doing as much as I could be doing, as I should be doing. Things should be happening a lot faster for me. And it's like the whole time, bro, it's like, you know, I'm not finna die. I'm not, like, we could go at any moment, but it's not very likely for me to die next week because I'm shooting up heroin. You know what I'm saying? Like I was. Absolutely. So it's just like, you know, I gotta kind of remind myself sometimes that, you know what I'm saying, be patient, be where your feet are at, you know what I'm saying?
And you know, that's why they say if you want to get somewhere fast, you gotta slow down. And I can see that growth in your music. You know, I've known you as an artist. I've watched you perform, you know, some 15 years ago. And so when we reconnected and, you know, you've been shooting me some ideas and things that you're creating, and it's like blowing my mind because I can see that growth when you actually stop and let yourself sit in that and be your most authentic self and not let yourself get put into a box for what you're supposed to be producing. So with that being said, man, tell us about maybe a piece that's important to you that you're looking forward to sharing. Because when we talk about music, we talk about life, we talk about art, that's why it's so important for us to share in moments like that. So we're excited to give you the stage. We're excited to hand over the stage to you for you to share, you know, your experiences, your art, and really get a chance to speak from your experience of what that journey looks like, what manhood looks like, what success looks like, bro. So we're excited about that. Tell us about one of the pieces that you plan on sharing with us.
I think that the central piece, the one that I'm showcasing as far as songs go, is Be Somebody. And you know, that's not when I think of like what's gonna be, because I always gotta think of like, damn, like what's gonna be the lead single that I'm trying to push and which one do I need to record and stuff. That's not necessarily the one that I think of. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like what I think will be, I don't know, commercially successful, or what, I don't know, that will like go with the trend now, or what's gonna go. It's not necessarily the one that I think of, but when I think
give
about,
us the underground, bro. Give us the underground. Let me try and give us the commercial, dog.
it ain't. That's what I just said. It's not the one that I think gonna be commercial. But I'm saying when we talking about this, when you say like what would be the message that you want to share with the world, when we talking on that level, or what would be the message that I would want to give some kids, you know what I'm saying? That's like the one that I'm thinking of is Be Somebody.
So why that one?
It's just because it's everything that we're talking about as far as actualizing your potential, and it's like an anthem to kind of just, I don't know, like it's motivational. You know what I'm saying? It speaks to it just speaks to like just being the best version of yourself, and what that looks like. Like there's a line in there that's like, it said, I hope when I'm singing you can tell I really mean it. I lie awake at night and I really be thinking, will what I've done go down in history? If I die young, would they remember me? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is like that type of, it's just like, on one hand, it's like an introspective thing, but then like, that's from the place that it was created, but like, now that it's created and I'm thinking about it in terms of people experiencing it, it's like a motivational thing, it seems like to me. So,
it's fire.
It's beautiful. Thanks, man. Listen, we appreciate you sitting down with us and really just sharing your vision.
Bro, if y'all ain't hyped about this event, bro, turn.
Hey, Modern Manhood. Rose State. It's going down.
It's going down. Men's Health.
October 26th, a Saturday, will be at Rose State College in the Jeannie Webb Ballroom, catered by Chef Prince Mason. We're also going to host with loads those of vendors who are serving our community and who want to see men healthy, happy, strong, and living the lifestyle that we see for ourselves. So shout out to Tig Blues.
Yeah,
Again, shout out to everyone who's partnering with us with this event. Log on to manhoodmasterclass.com to make sure you get your tickets. We'll see you there. It's free to attend, and if you are a business or an organization that wants to serve with us, then make sure you get a vendor booth.
Yep. And we got space for volunteers too. So if you're a person that's like, yo, I rock with the cause, I'm trying to get down with modern manhood, this is the time. Ladies, y'all been asking how y'all can help out. This is an event you can help out with as well.
Absolutely. So check us out, manhoodmasterclass.com.